iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the championship night here for the iNascar Racing Series here at the Phoenix International Speedway. Tonight we'll have the last four drivers in the playoffs duke it out to see who will come away with the championship. The top four were all of the playoff drivers, so those guys put in the work here tonight and getting ready to try and bring home that championship trophy as we got cars rolling out on track to start some qualifying runs. We'll take a look here at Richard Mills in the 5 machine out here on track. So far, none of the playoff guys out there on track. A lot of these guys made it to the playoffs but have been eliminated. Now there is just 4 left to duke it on out as Richard Mills gets a little bit loose, aborts this lap. So we'll look at the 97 Sharpie machine of Dylan Schultz getting that thing up to speed, warming up those tires. We'll see what Dylan can do for his first time lap here. And of course, if you haven't checked out Phoenix in a little bit, folks, there is a new reconfiguration with the start-finish line being in where 1 and 2 used to be at. Now there's just 3 corners to this track. Well, technically 4, but I like to just say there's 3 because it makes it a lot easier on my end. So we're looking at the 97 machine of Dylan Schultz. The 4 playoff drivers that we'll keep an eye on tonight, that will be the headlines, are Vernon Brodbeck, Brandon Fetterplace, Nick Wing, and Jeff Brogdon. As Dylan Schultz completes lap number 1 here in that 97 machine, he will go to P number 4, it looks like, on the timing scoring, folks. As Philip Neese in that 038 machine is to the top of the board. We'll see if Dylan can go faster here on lap number 2. As he comes out of turn number 3 for the final time. Almost gets a piece of that wall, but does not. And it looks like he will stay P number 4. We'll take a look at one of the playoff drivers, that being Vernon Brodbeck in that 10 machine as Brandon Fetterplace goes P number 2. Brodbeck goes P3 on lap number 1 in this Mike's Hard Lemonade machine. We'll see what he can do here on lap number 2. It seems like there might be a little bit of speed in these tires for a second lap, folks, so we will see if Vernon can improve his lap time here on lap number 2. as he heads through turn 3 for the final time. We'll keep that thing just off the wall, trying to carry as much momentum. And Vernon does not improve that lap time, so it looks like we have a almost virtual tie up at the top of the timing and scoring between Philip Neese and Brandon Fetterplace. So you don't see that too often, folks, as that is impressive. As now we're looking at Tony Japs in the 42 Black Rifle machine. We'll see if he can improve on that lap time. First lap put him P number 11 with a 27.86. This lap will be improved, but only for P number 10. As you can see just how close those lap times are, folks. From the, I want to say, top 7 or 8, you know, just a few tenths separating all of them. And at the top of the board, virtually right on top of each other. So some impressive runs here for the championship night, as the drivers with the neon green are going for the playoffs, folks. So we got to keep a close eye on those drivers, as these drivers are doing battle for 156 laps here tonight. I believe there's 5 sets of tires over the wall. 1 fast repair for these drivers, I believe, here tonight. So we will have to see how this can shake on up, how it will turn on out, because one driver will be crowned the champion for the season of the iNascar Racing Cup Series. As these guys have raced 32 weeks overall since, I want to say, springtime, folks, and the championship finally coming down to the end. This is what these drivers worked all season for, and we'll see who can hoist the trophy when it is all said and done. As I believe we have our last playoff driver getting ready to roll out onto the track, that being Jeff Brogdon in the 14 machine, as it looks like he's sporting an all black with the neon green. We'll see what Jeff can do as he comes down the backstretch here. He will start his first time lap, folks. As winding that machine up, trying to get the big run to the start finish line. Cut this dog leg as much as he can. As actually he stayed on track there, folks. So maybe some strategy depending on where to place your race car here tonight. I'm sure these guys have done weeks of research to try and figure out that optimal line to get the best track position they can. Because in theory, folks, if you can start up higher than your competition in the standings, you know, you're more likely to stay out of the wrecks. I mean, wrecks can be wherever, but this lap will be the 14 machines money lap. As you see, that first lap, kind of a throwaway lap. This, he cuts a dog leg. He's full song now, folks. So we will see what the 14 can do on his one money lap as he comes down the backstretch here. It's looking pretty good as he comes through turn 3 for the final time to the start finish line. We'll see what the 14 machine can do as he gets right up against that wall. And Jeff Brogdon, new provisional pole sitter. That lap was enough to put him P number 1. So he goes to the top of the timing and scoring with throwing away that first lap. That strategy works out great for that 14 machine. He will start at the moment on the front row in P number 1 and lead us to green. As we start to wrap up the lone qualifying here, we've had 14 drivers take a lap time. And with this time, we're going to go over some race information here at the 1 Mile Phoenix Raceway. Of course, this is the championship night for these drivers here at Phoenix. Those 4 green drivers going for a championship. And of course, no bonus points. And these guys going just having to finish better than their competition. As we get the race information on up, we see the layout for Phoenix, you know, a little tricky, especially with that dog leg. I believe the series can go down in the dog leg, so we'll see some drivers cutting it, trying a lot of different lines as this track heats up very differently, and these cup cars get pretty loose out of these corners here. So we'll have to see how drivers can navigate this in that hot Phoenix sun. Of course, we got to thank all the series sponsors, that being the admin team here, such as Matt Allen and all the guys that do the awesome stuff on the back end. So this league wouldn't be possible with that admin support. Also, Butt Kicker and RS Button Boxes. And also, Turn 3 Racing Network out here showing on up. Got to give a shout out to all those guys. If you want some great broadcasts, be sure to check them on out. We got a lot of great broadcasters to put on to your series. As with a moment, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back on the other side with the starting grid. Don't go anywhere, folks. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Phoenix International Raceway as we wrap up qualifying here. Jeff Brogdon will start on the pole in that 14 machine. Philip Neese looks like he'll bring that thing second, tied on time with Brandon Fetterplace. Vernon Broadbeck in fourth. Clark France rounding out the top five. And the last playoff driver, Nick Wing, starting in the sixth position. So the car numbers we want to stay on the lookout for those playoffs are the 14 machine, the 114 machine, the 10, and the 99. As we get ready here, I believe we got cars out there gridding on up. So we'll run down tonight's starting order for the PRA Championship race here at Phoenix. Starting on pole is Jeff Brogdon in the 14 machine. Starting to his outside is the 038 machine of Philip Neese. Third will be Brandon Fetterplace in the 114. Starting to his outside is Vernon Broadbeck in the 10. Starting in fifth is Clark France in the 15. Sixth will be Nick Wing in the 99. Row number 4 will be made up of Dylan Schultz in the 97 machine, with Richard Mills in the 5. Ninth goes to Scott Thomas in the 79 machine. And rounding out tonight's top 10 is Josh Douglas in the 8. Tony Japs in the 42 machine will start 11th. 12th will goes to Dan Hughes. 13th is Matt Allen in the 127 machine. 14th is Benjamin Bryant in the 83 machine. Vince Burns in the 55 will start 15th. 16th goes to Dan Jensen in the 17. And rounding out tonight's starting field is Zach Miller in the 38 machine. That will be tonight's starting order for this season's finale, this championship season. It all comes down to this for those 4 drivers as they are ready to do battle. 156 laps, folks, so it may seem long, but with these 18-second laps, it flies on by, folks, so don't go anywhere. We also got some stage breaks happening here tonight. We'll have to stay tuned when those come on out because I don't have them off the top of my head, but I know we have 2 stage breaks in there to give these drivers a rest and get some new Goodyear tires underneath those cars. As we see the field pull on away, we got 17 cars strong here tonight for the championship race at Phoenix. As like I said, folks, 32 weeks building up to this race. This is where One driver will walk away with the championship trophy. 3 others heartbroken with the rest of the field that did not make it to this point. We will have to see how it all unfolds as the iRacing pace car already down pit road. So now we have the long pace down the backstretch and wait for Jeff Brogdon in the 14 machine to jump on the loud pedal and bring us to green flag one final time for this season for the iNascar Racing Series. As we get ready to go green, we wait on the 14 machine. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing here at Phoenix. And as you can already see, folks, drivers not wasting any time. Already some 3-wide action here with Clark France up from 5th position now up to 3rd, trying to battle Brandon Fetterplace for that 2nd position. As they come down the backstretch here, folks, it looks like everyone's starting to get sorted on out as Philip Neese looking to the inside. He will get there and try and bring along Vernon Broadbeck in that 10 machine. As one car loose in the tri-oval, not sure what's happening to him as Neese goes on around, involves Vernon Broadbeck. That will be a yellow flag out here early in this race, and you got to wonder how damaged is that 10 machine when it is all said and done, because he is one of those playoff drivers that needs to be there for the finish of this race when it's all said and done. As we try and pull up the replay here, folks, we'll take a look to see what happened as we look at the 038 machine heading into turn number 3. And Vernon Broadbeck down low. Not sure if Philip Neese knew he was there. Oh, Vernon did get into the back bumper, though, of the 038 machine. And that's enough to send that car around. And then Vernon does get tagged a little bit by the 15 machine, but I think he's mostly all right. So we'll take a look one more time here at the replay, maybe from the 10 machine, and see what he is seeing. As we see, there's the contact that sends the 038 machine around. And then he gets turned by, it looks like the 15 as well, when it's all said and done. And it looks like not too much damage to these cars, but you always got to wonder how much damage can these cars take when it's all said and done, because you want to try and limit the damage as much as you can, especially for a long race like this with over 150 laps still left in this race. As we go back to live here, and it looks like Vernon Broadbeck is back out there on track here under our first yellow here tonight. It looks like the 97 machine of Dylan Schultz down pit road here. Not sure, maybe topping that thing off with fuel. Definitely not taking tires this early in the race, so maybe got some sort of other damage, but he is down pit road early in this race here as we still have 150 laps to go when it's all said and done. As we are pacing under the yellow flag, Jeff Brogdon continues to lead the way in this race. We haven't had too much time to get anything shaken up too much here. As I bet once we get these first initial jitters out of the way, folks, we'll get a long green flag run probably till right around the end of the stage when it's all said and done. So we will have to see how long that we can go racing for here. As the lights go and get extinguished on top of the iRacing pace car, we will double file them on up here. We'll re-rack them, restack them, and get ready to go back to green flag racing action. But already some playoff implications early in this race already, folks. This first yellow involved Vernon Broadbeck in the 10 machine. That is one of the 4 playoff drivers. The rest of them still inside that top 4 there. So we will have to see how this plays on out, as once again the iRacing pace car heads down to this early pit road, and we'll pace down this backstretch for a while and then wait for the 14 machine to once again lead us back to green flag here at Phoenix. As Jeff Brogdon waits to jump on the loud pedal, waits to go till he's in that restart zone, jumps on the loud pedal. We go back green flag racing here at Phoenix, and Brogdon wastes no time to get down to that bottom, tries to cut that corner as much as he can, and you can see how much of an advantage that gives him. Already about almost 10 car lengths to the next car behind him, that being Brandon Fetterplace, under fire from Clark France, who makes a little bit of contact with that 99 machine of Nick Wing, trying to roll that high side. I believe that high side will have a little bit of an advantage, but we get our second yellow flag here. It looks like it might involve the 38 machine of Zach Miller. We'll double check that on our end, folks, and that does look to be the case. So we'll go back to our second yellow flag here real quick and check out the replay, see what happened to the 38 machine. It looks like maybe, nope, 3 wide racing action behind him, and oh man, it looks like that back end stepped out, but underneath that 38 machine starts trying to save it down the straightaway. Vernon Broadbeck in that 10 machine tries to get on around, just barely keeps out of the wall, but one other car wrecking big time. Not sure. I think that's the 83 machine of Benjamin Bryan also involved in this. We'll take a look at the 83 machine, probably trying to make an evasive maneuver around that 38 machine. Oh, he does get clipped by that 38 machine, and that sends him pretty hard contact into that inside wall. So it looks like his night will be done, but not sure what happened to the 55 machine, who doesn't make it, is in pit road here and back out there on track. So, but that yellow flag involving 2 racers out there. The 38 machine of Zach Miller loses that back end off of turn number 2 and just barely collects that 83 machine of Benjamin Bryan. And folks, I was just about to say, turn 2 is definitely going to be very slick out here tonight for these drivers. One of the struggle points, especially in these current NASCAR cars. Hard to put that power down with that little banking. So we'll see drivers struggle, especially if they're on the inside line, has a car outside them. That's how we saw like Brandon Fetterplace get around Clark France, who were side by side in the middle of the corner, but that 114 machine able to rocket on by on corner exit with that preferred line, not having to pinch it on off the corner. So we'll have to see if that will probably be a trend continuing, if I had to guess. But we'll have to see how much of a struggle, how much of a wrench it throws at these drivers, as we'll be going green here. The iRacing pace car is back down pit road, in the field being led by Jeff Brogdon, Brandon Fetterplace in second, Nick Wright up to third, Clark France fourth, and Richard Mills up into the top, the 79 of Scott Thomas up into the top 5 here as we get ready for our second restart of the night. And Jeff Brogdon jumps on the loud pedal here, folks. We go back to green flag racing action. Once again, a beautiful restart from that 14 machine. You see him once again cut that dog leg here, and once again get it out to about a 10 car length lead over this field, being led by Brandon Fetterplace as one car slowed down low. I believe that's the 38 machine of Zach Miller, as Nick Wright, Nick Wing under fire from Clark France all over that back bumper, and Clark able to get on around, so Nick will fall back into the 4th position, but further on back, guys duking it all out with one car going on around. That's the 8 machine of Josh Douglas, We saw him maybe make a little bit of contact in that dog leg, and no yellow flag out, folks. We will stay green flag racing as the field continues to stay under power, and we stay green flag. We'll take a look here quickly during the live replay, and I believe the 8 and the 5 make contact. I don't think the 5 expected the 8 not to go down low, and yeah, you see that slight little contact to that right rear, and that was enough to send that 8 machine around, or you got to wonder, did he get a piece of that apron? But we stay green flag. NASCAR doesn't throw the yellow. And Jeff Brogdon out there with almost a 1 second lead already over Brandon Fetterplace in second. So Brogdon looking very strong here early in this race. Vernon Broadbeck, a man on a mission. Not sure if he did. It doesn't look like he came in and got tires. Only a 2-second pit stop, so probably filled up that 10 machine with fuel, but already back into the top 5 here with him battling the 79 machine of Scott Thomas. So Vernon looking pretty sporty, driving his way back through that field, so it doesn't look like that damage has affected that 10 machine too much when it's all said and done. As we see Tony Japs in that 42 machine trying to roll that high side of the 10 car. But you can see the advantage in turn 3 there is that inside line, whereas the advantage here in 1 and 2 is a little bit more that top side, especially if you can roll that top side just a little bit faster, get that nose to the outside of that car in front of you. As Vernon now able to get by the 79 machine, so that will put Vernon back into the top 5. So all 4 playoff drivers in the top 5 here early in this race on lap number 17. Oh man, trouble for a playoff driver. That involves Nick Wing in the 99 machine. I believe that involves the 15 of Clark France. And that, folks, may be some big playoff implications. We will check out the timing, the replay here, as that looked like a pretty big wreck here between the 99 and the 15 going into turn number 1. As Nick Wing tries to roll that thing and gets to the bottom, and oh man, looks like he lost the front end, maybe got some aero push, but some big time contact for both of those drivers. And Nick Wing, now he's going to have a very uphill battle when it's all said and done for these playoffs. That definitely had to affect some of the suspension components to that car and bump out some body panels, hurt some aero. So we got to wonder how damaged is that 99 machine, as that was pretty significant contact with that 15 and also the wall. So we jump back up to the front of the field, and Vernon Broadbeck with those two taking each other out at this point in the race will get back all the way up into the 3rd position. So he is showing how easily he can bounce on back. Now we'll see if the 99 machine can have that luxury, but I believe that 99 machine is a little bit more damaged than when the 10 came down pit road for that first yellow. So, folks, at lap number 20, we are under our third yellow flag of the night for the iNascar Racing Series here at Phoenix for their championship night. Currently, Jeff Brogdon has led all 20 laps here in that 14 machine. He started up on pole, and it's looked pretty sporty in this first little bit of this race. Nick Wing involved in this most recent yellow, and you can see that car still looking a little beat up, so you got to wonder how that thing will handle up at full song. As the lights do go out on the iRacing pace car, folks, we are going green next time by, as the field will double back on up, and we go get ready for another green flag run as Vernon Broadbeck back up into the top 10. Philip Neese also back up in the 4th position, and Tony Japs in the 42 machine will round out the top 5. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road again, we get ready to go back to green flag racing action. As once again, we'll wait for the 14 machine to jump on the loud pedal here in a second, and then we'll see what kind of restart he can get, because the last couple ones have been killer from that 14 machine. And once again, away with another great restart. And Vernon Broadbeck will challenge Brandon Fetterplace for that 2nd position. Will cut that dog leg, have a little bit of advantage on that 114 machine. And 3 and 4 will clear him here. So Vernon Broadbeck up into P number 2 over the 114 machine. As he does look to the inside here into 3, won't have a good enough of a run as the rest of the field tries to sort themselves on out. Scott Thomas in that 79 machine, currently in that 6th position, in a battle with Matt Allen in that white, blue, and red number 127 machine. As Dylan Schultz trying to get back on up into the top 5 as well, as he tries to roll that 79 machine on the top side. Dylan Schultz in that Sharpie number 97 machine. A little bit further up, Philip Neese trying to put the pressure on the back bumper of Vernon Broadbeck. Looks like Brandon Fetterplace able to get back around Broadbeck, but now the 038 machine trying to put the pressure on that 10 machine for 3rd position on the speedway. As the field kind of figuring themselves out where they're about running on the speedway. Looks like everyone's single filed out here for the moment, but that's trying to change back here with Dan Hughes, Richard Mills, and Clark France also in this battle as well. As you can see, Nick Wright not making up too many positions here quickly in this race, so you got to wonder how damaged is that 99 machine was before running in that 3rd position. Now stuck back in the 13th position here in this race. As now Matt Allen under fire from the 97 machine of Dylan Schultz. These guys will go door to door here into turn number 3. This corner will give the advantage to that 97 machine. Can run a little bit lower line, and especially right here can cut that dog leg, take away a little bit of the track length, and get even more of an advantage than that guy on the top side. So this is where if the top guy on the top side can have a little bit of a run, they could get a better run off of turn number 2 down the backstretch here. As we see Richard Mills now looking to the inside of the 79 machine of Scott Thomas. He's trying to make work, keeping that car off of the dog leg there. So maybe trying to save some tire. Maybe trying to arc that top guy out of the way. But that is the other killer of this Phoenix International Raceway, folks, is that dog leg. If you're the car on top, expecting that guy on the bottom side to cut the dog leg, and you move on down, you have the chance to, let's say, right rear hook them into the outside wall or something like that. So you need to be hyper aware in that dog leg of where that car on the inside is going, because if they do cut the dog leg, you want to go as low as you can. But if they don't, you got to be able to react and stay up high enough that you don't make contact with that other car, let's say. But it looks like Scott Thomas able to defend the position from Richard Mills, but Richard is not giving on up in that 5 machine. We'll look once again to the inside. This time we'll cut the dog leg. Let's see if this will be enough to clear the 79 machine, and that it is, folks. So Richard Mills back up into P number 8 from where he qualified. As Vernon Broadbeck hanging on to that 3rd position, but has Philip Neese right on his back bumper, and Brandon Fetterplace about 4 car lengths in front of him. So this battle is far from over, as well as I believe probably all of these guys just riding on around for the most part, making sure they can take care of those tires till the stage 1 caution. As Richard Mills and Scott Thomas continue to do battle, they are the closest cars on track. Besides the battle we're looking at here, with about a car length between them for that 3rd position between Vernon Broadbeck and Philip Neese. But yeah, 3 of the 4 playoff drivers in the top 5, 3 of them being 1, 2, 3. But Nick Wing continues to struggle here with that damaged race car, hanging out in the 12th position, kind of on his own. But maybe Matt Allen with a bit of an issue. Looks like maybe a little bit of right side damage to that 127 machine as he brings that thing down pit road. Not sure what happened to him, but I saw him quickly dropping in the standing, so I assume he got a big piece of the wall at some point. So that will at least put him probably 1, if not 2 laps down, with pitting under the green flag conditions. As Jeff Brogdon has been the man of the beginning part of this race. This first 36 laps have been all led by this 14 machine. He is a man on a mission. Got that car blacked out so he can pass tech, but also be a little inconspicuous, just out there running his laps in about a second and growing to almost a 1.5 second lead over our 2nd place driver, Brandon Fetterplace, in that 114 machine. Brandon looking pretty sporty, has rode around here in the 2nd position all day long. We know this 114 machine has a lot of speed in it as well, so we'll have to see if maybe he's in big time tire saving mode or what's going on. But we get the yellow flag here, and I believe, oh man, big time damage to that 5 car of Richard Mills. We see that thing smoking, and looks like right front broken on that race car. So we will take a look to see what happened to the 5 of Richard Mills. Looks like he was battling the 42 machine of Tony Japson. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about, folks. That dog leg, not being aware of where those cars are around him. Oh man, big time contact with the 79 of Scott Thomas. Richard Mills ricochets back up into the racetrack, right into the line of that 79 machine. And that thing has heavy damage as well. So some big time contact for these drivers, as we'll jump on board with the driver of the 79 machine, and we'll see what he sees, as He sees one car spinning down low, sees the corner. It's clear, clear. Oh, man, car slides right in front of him. Big time contact with the 5 and then into the outside wall. And probably those two drivers' days are done here prematurely in this race with significant damage to both of those race cars. As we jump to the race here, and it looks like we got our first pit stops of the night. Jeff Brogdon will win the race off of pit road. It looks like Vernon Broadbeck beats Brandon Fetterplace for second off. Brandon Fetterplace third. Philip Neese fourth. And Dylan Schultz, the fifth car off of pit road. So some drama unfolding here, folks, as we got a lot going on. As we are under our fourth yellow here tonight. So actually, folks, lap 39 was the end of the stage. So I think Jeff Brogdon does win stage number 1, as Benjamin Bryan in that 83 machine elects to stay on out. He hasn't hit pit road yet, so if he does not pit next time by, he'll probably be leading us to green flag here, as the 55 machine of Vince Burns will get a wave around here once we get the 1 to go signal. As the lights go out on the iRacing pace car, Benjamin Bryan in that 83 machine will lead us to green. Jeff Brogdon in second, Vernon Broadbeck in third, Philip Neese fourth, and Dylan Schultz will round out the top 5. It looks like the 114 machine of Brandon Fetterplace too fast on pit road, so he'll have to drop back. Looks like he will restart in the 9th position when it is all said and done. So that is a tough break for our previous second place runner. So we'll have to see if he can get through this field cleanly, as Benjamin Bryan did not pit last time. So he'll lead us to green on old tires. We'll see what can happen here, as this will start stage number 2 for the championship race here at Phoenix. As the 83 machine will jump on the loud pedal. We'll go back to green flag racing as Jeff Brogdon gets a great start on the outside. You got to wonder if it was too good. Did he jump that start? Will he get a penalty? We'll have to find out here from race control. But that 83 machine of Benjamin Bryan on those old tires falling back quickly in contact. Benjamin Bryan into the inside wall. Tony Jabs goes around, and they continue to wreck down the backstretch here. Looks like the 127 machine of Matt Allen also involved. So that is the bummer to start in the back that I think that almost got Brandon Fetterplace, as we'll jump on board with the 114 machine to see this contact in front of him. Cars spinning, wrecking, and Fetterplace does get a piece of Matt Allen. As you can see, all of those cars spinning around him, all those cars dodging him in that rearview mirror as well. So you got to wonder, how damaged is that 114 machine? And that pit road penalty, folks, put him right there in the hornet's nest. We'll take a look one more time off of turn number 2, and Tony Jabs gets right to the left rear of the 83 machine, not realizing how slow he was. Luckily, that 83 machine stays down low, but you can see Matt Allen and the 79 machine go on around there. And Matt Allen, pretty significant contact to that right front of that race car. So a 4-car incident there to give some more cars some damage before it's all said and done. But Jeff Brogdon comes back out with the race lead here, folks, at Phoenix. And with this little break under our 5th yellow here tonight on lap 44, I'm going to go to commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Phoenix Raceway here for the championship night for the iNascar Racing Series. The lights are extinguished once again on the iRacing pace car. And we have a great question in the YouTube chat lands asking how the 14 machine of Jeff Brogdon gets such good restarts. And that is true from Eric saying that those old tires on that 83 machine, didn't do him too much of a favor for that restart and that pace. But the leader of these restarts gets to choose when he goes in these restart zones. So iRacing, the last couple updates here on these NASCAR tracks, implementing restart zones so the leader can have choice to go whenever he wants in those restart zones. And with those zones, the leader can get a little bit of a jump there. And especially here at Phoenix, you cut that dog leg, you can add probably 3 to 5 car lengths by the time you head into turn number 1. So you see the Geico restart zone there. The 14 machine goes, and especially with that 038 machine of Philip Neese that high in the corner, he's got a lot of track to make on up from that leader. And I mean, you can see how good of a restart that inside lane got just by being a little bit lower in that corner and firing off at a straight shot like they can. So Vernon Broadbeck does slide into that second position from restarting in the third. Nick Wing up into the 7th position when it's all said and done. So probably a little bit more of some damaged race cars behind him to add into the mix. And Brandon Fetterplace pitting that last time to get some damage repaired. And 3 wide trying to get around Vince Burns, who just comes out of pit road. But Fetterplace trying to get back through this field has ran a strong second in that first stage. Now in stage number 2, some obstacles thrown his way in that 114 machine, currently running in that 9th position. But up front, Jeff Brogdon not getting away as far as he has recently, so maybe Vernon pushing a little bit more than Brandon did in that second position. But I think that 10 machine of Vernon has to push at this point in the race because he has that 038 machine right on his back bumper like he's had for, I want to say, the last 40 laps or so. Philip Neese has been constantly on the back bumper of that 10 car. as throughout the field the battle's kind of simmering on down. We got Clark Friends trying to get around Dan Hughes here for that 5th position. Clark able to send it on in after the dogleg into turn number 1 there, get the position. So that 15 machine back up into P number 5. We'll now see if Nick Wing can make a move on that 6 machine, as we see Tony Jabs go way to the high side, try and carry that momentum, but ultimately it lets around Brandon Fetterplace, who's now up into the 8th position. But right now, folks, we are a third of the way done with this championship night for the iNascar Racing Series here at Phoenix. As Nick Wing trying to get around the top side of Dan Hughes. Nick Wing all the way almost to the wall, has to really get out of that throttle. That allows Brandon Fetterplace to get on by, so Nick Wing letting that car swing a little too wide in 1 and 2. You know, you got to float it on in there, but not that much. So now Brandon Fetterplace right there in the sandwich between the 6 and the 99. So Brandon will look to the top side here into turn number 3. We'll see if he can get the move done on the 6, maybe a crossover. And yes, indeed, lets the 6 car drive it in there deep, waits to hit his mark, and drives right on by him. So Dan Hughes falling a few spots here during this green flag run as Nick Wing tries to get on around as well. That puts Nick back up into the 7th position, the best position he has had since he made that major contact with the 15 machine of Clark France. And up front, Jeff Brogdon slowly pulling away from our 2nd place runner. Jeff has been the car to beat in that first stage, and so far the beginning of stage number 2, he's slowly pulling a gap, like I was saying, over Vernon Broadbeck, who's pulling away a little bit from Philip Neese in the 3rd position. But the man on a mission is Dylan Schultz in that 97 machine, up into the 4th position and gaining a little bit of ground on those cars in front of him. As alrighty, folks, we already are inside of 100 laps to go to crown a champion at the end of this race. So everyone really spacing on out now, folks. We'll take a look at some wider cams, maybe some different cams now that the racing action starting to slow on down for me just a little bit. But of course, it's never fully over as we take a look at the 8 machine of Josh Douglas. We saw him get into that spin and not bring out a yellow flag, currently trying to rebound right there in the 10th position, just out on top of that top 10 here in 10th. As Dan Hughes losing another spot here, that time to the 42 of Tony Japs. You got to wonder if those tires on that 6 machine going a little bit early, or maybe he's just really backing on down, expecting a long run till right around lap, I want to say 38 might be the next yellow flag, I believe. So we'll see if he saves a little bit of tire till that stage caution. Is Nick Wing big time out of shape in that 99 Aflac machine. Keeps that thing straight, keeps it off the wall, so he lives to see another day. But Brandon Fetterplace up into the 5th position again. He gets around Clark France. As we are on lap number 60 of 156 here tonight at Phoenix. As Brandon Fetterplace almost gets into the backstretch wall there. That was definitely very close for the 114 machine. As up for the 2nd position, Dylan Schultz has caught these 2nd and 3rd place drivers He is starting to put the pressure a little bit on Philip Neese in that 038 machine here, currently in the 3rd position. It looks like Dylan's able to roll the middle just a little bit faster, have a little bit more exit speed, you know, just a half a mile an hour or so, but that it means everything, especially in the short track racing. I'm going to consider Phoenix a short track, guys. You guys can all fight me in the comments, but you got to drive this track like a short track, so it is a mile length, so technically not, but I'm going to go call it like a short track driving style track with 2 different ends. And pretty loose, pretty floaty, especially here in 1 and 2. As these currently are the drivers in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions running out on the speedway. As all separated by 2 car lengths between each other at most around a lap, so these guys knowing the end of the stage about 15 laps away, so they know that they can come in during then to get a new set of tires. But you got to wonder how much tire is left under these cars, because once it gets to the end of stage 2, folks, it could go green to the rest of the race. So these guys making sure that they can manage their tires in case it does go that long for that final stint. As Philip Neese looking to the inside of Vernon Broadbeck, so maybe a battle for 2nd place on our hand, with Dylan Schultz waiting right there in the shadows in that 97 Sharpie machine. And interesting here, folks, didn't see anyone cut the dog leg there during that lap, so you got to wonder, maybe these cars not handling the best, or maybe that will be enough to slow them on down. But Philip Neese tries the inside of Vernon Broadbeck, and you can see, oh man, Philip Neese big time washed up, maybe into the 97. Not sure if they did make contact, because the 97 machine experienced a little bit of technical difficulty. So you got to wonder if there was contact between those 2 cars, but shows you how dominant that high line can be once this tires start to go away, and once that inside groove heats up, as Philip Neese loses 3rd place to Dylan Schultz, who now sets his sights on our 2nd place runner, Vernon Broadbeck. In that time by, folks, we'll probably see about 10 laps to go in this stage, as Jeff Brogdon has checked out to a comfortable 2.5 second lead over our 2nd place runner. So this guy, they got a killer setup under that 14 machine here tonight. He has put in the hours of practice when it is all said and done, and he's showing it here in the middle part of the stage. Stage 1, he was the man to beat. Stage 2, it looks like he is the man to beat as well, as we come by at the start-finish line to complete lap number 70 of 156. And last time by Jeff Brogdon with a 28.59. The next closest time is Dylan Schultz, who gets around 2nd place Vernon Broadbeck. So Dylan Schultz with a 28.88, so about 2/10 slower when it's all said and done, as now we got a battle for 3rd place between the 10 and the 038 machine. We saw there was contact between these 2 drivers earlier. They did bring out the first yellow flag. We gotta wonder how they'll race each other here as they do battle here once again here at the championship night. Of course, one thing to keep very close in mind, that 10 machine is racing maybe for a little bit bigger picture. He's racing for a championship. As Broadbeck does lose that third position to Philip Neese, Dylan Schultz kind of running by his lonesome in second. It looks like everyone else mostly spread on out. But one driver that's putting in fairly decent laps here is this 99 and 15 machine. 99 being driven by Nick Wing, the 15 machine being driven by Clark France. And both those guys with pretty good pace compared to the leader, but last time by Dylan Schultz a little bit faster than our race leader, so that 97 machine maybe has something figured out for a very, very long run. So he's definitely hoping for this final stage that will come in about 5 laps or so, that it goes green to the end, because he could probably challenge our race leader with that pace, where Brogdon has to manage his race wisely, especially if he does have to battle someone. And if that someone's not in the playoffs, he's got to weigh the risk of how hard does he want to battle versus trying to pick up this championship that all these drivers have worked so hard for 32 weeks in the making. And it all comes to an end tonight when the checkered flag falls. As we currently look at our race leader, starting to catch a little bit of lap traffic. I believe that's the 38 machine. You have Zach Miller, the last car, on the lead lap. Also Benjamin Bryan in there as well, who's currently 2 laps down. So those guys trying not to go another lap down or another lap down before the end of the stage here. But it will definitely be close as the rest of the field spreads on out for the most part in this race. As I bet all these drivers are pretty whipped here already, and we still got a lot of racing to go. As Jeff Brogdon does look to the inside of Zach Miller, so this will put the 38 machine 1 lap down and put the 8 machine of Josh Douglas, the last car in the lead lap, and 1 car into the wall there. It looks like Benjamin Bryan does get a piece of the wall off of turn number 2. And I believe at some point this lap the yellow should fall for this stage number 2 caution. And that it does right there, folks. So Jeff Brogdon wins stage number 1. He wins at stage number 2 as well. So that 14 machine looking very sporty when it counts here in the championship race. He's just got to make sure he hits his marks on pit road and makes no mistakes. As we will keep an eye here at the field pitting. And see who comes off of pit road with the race lead. As Jeff Brogdon will lead them down pit road, and everyone on the lead lap will come on down and take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, as well as filled up with Sunoco race fuel. Jeff Brogdon wins the race off of pit road. Alrighty, we are back here after stage number 2. So if we go green till the end, folks, it will only be because of incidents here. Jeff Brogdon will lead us to the final stage in that 14 machine. Dylan Schultz in the 97th second. Vernon Broadbeck third. Philip Neese fourth. And Brandon Fetter placed back in the top 5. We go back to green flag racing action here at Phoenix. Once again, Brogdon gets away with a huge restart over Dylan Schultz, who has still some technical difficulties. Vernon Broadbeck slides back into that second position with restarting in third. So you do not want to be restarting in that second position if at all possible when it comes down to it. As Vernon Broadbeck will try and keep Jeff Brogdon honest, try and keep some pressure on him, but Brogdon already pulling up to a half-second lead over our second-place driver. But Brandon Fetter Place trying to get back up there as well. Same with Nick Wing in that 99 machine. The top 4 all being held by playoff drivers. As I don't believe they'll have enough fuel to make it to the end. I forgot to have my race analysis check that, so we're going out here winging it. As last time by, Jeff Brogdon, a man on a mission, ran the best lap of the session of anyone in it with a 27.34. So that 14 machine on a mission. And it doesn't look like he's saving too much tires as Nick Wing, playoff contender, involved in another incident here for our 7th yellow of the night. We'll check out what happened to that 99 Aflac machine. But it looks like some heavy damage to that right front there. As you see that right front broken, at least an upper control arm and that fender. So we'll take a look to see what happened to that 99 machine. And does he get some help? Him and that 15 machine had a previous incident, folks. Nick Wing lifts there and definitely does get help from the 15. And oh man, right at the camera. Watch out, cameraman there. He didn't even flinch as Nick Wing, heavy contact into that outside wall. And we'll take a look at it one more time, see if he does get some help from that 15 machine into turn number 1. But I think with Clark France being that close on that back bumper, yeah, I think he does get some help in the 99, trying to avoid getting in that inside wall. makes heavy contact with that outside wall. So Nick Wing, it will be tough to see that car back out there, as he does get at least back rolling here, and I think maybe he had to use that last fast repair to try and keep himself in these playoffs. He's got to keep that 99 car clean, though, the rest of the race. As we are under our 7th yellow here at Phoenix on lap 88 of 156. And of course, folks, this is the championship race for these drivers. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Phoenix Raceway, and the lights once again get extinguished on the iRacing pace car here on lap number 90. We are going green next time by. Now Vernon Broadbeck gets to try and restart in that P2 position. We've seen every car that has restarted up there at least lose 2 spots on a restart, as we see Dylan Schultz all the way back there in that 5th position. So we'll see what kind of restart Brandon Fetterplace can get. Same with that 10 machine as we get ready for our 7th restart here tonight. As Jeff Brogdon has been the man of the hour so far in this race. We'll see if he can close us on out with about 66 laps to go as we wait for the 14 machine to jump on the loud pedal. And he does that, and we're back. Green flag race in action. Vernon gets away with a pretty good start. You know, still has a nose advantage over Brandon Fetterplace. So one of the better starts we've seen from the 2nd position, but still no match to keep up with that race leader, as Jeff Brogdon has something figured out in these restarts. Has shot out like a cannon, and once again a half a second lead over the field, already 1 lap after a restart. As we look a little bit further back, some battles going on. Philip Neese trying to get through this field as quickly as he can. Did come down pit road that yellow, so not sure if maybe a little bit of strategy option from that 038 machine, or topping that thing off with fuel, but he tries to make that thing head through this field. And same with Nick Wing, you know, using that fast repair there middle of the race. He's got to hope he keeps that thing clean, but he is catching the back bumper of that 15 machine. You got to wonder how these guys will battle it on out here as we start to approach the closing stages of this race. We're almost to the 2/3 mark. As Philip Neese now looks to the inside of Tony Japs. This is the pass for 7th on the speedway. He's able to get it done, but Tony does have a run. He'll try and cross him over down this backstretch, but not quite enough of a run when it's all said and done. As everyone up front, about 10 car lengths or less between each other when it's all said and done. So these guys kind of keeping each other honest. not letting anyone save too much, but I don't know how hard these drivers are pushing. Maybe expecting a long run or maybe banking on a yellow here sometime before this checkered flag falls. As Philip Neese tries to put the move on the 8 machine of Josh Douglas, he's able to get the job done there in turn number 3. So Philip Neese trying to get his way back up into this top 5. As Philip Neese did qualify outside pole, so he's trying to get back up from where he qualified at. As Vernon Broadbeck under heavy fire now as Brandon Feder plays all over the back bumper of that Mike's Harder machine. As you can see, Vernon get a little bit loose off of turn number 2 there. You got to wonder, maybe are those tires on that 10 machine falling off a little bit? Are they starting to lose some grip? As we'll jump on board with Brandon Fetterplace and see what he is seeing to make that thing so fast and see what he's doing around a lap. We'll see these drivers go through the gears because these current Jet NASCAR sequential shifters, we'll hear them shifting up and down the gears. As you can see, Brandon takes a nice and easy into the corners, allows him to get that car rotated, pointed where he wants, and able to get a big run. He looks to the inside of Vernon Broadbeck. They go side by side into the corner, and you hear Brandon downshift into 4th there, and then he'll upshift into 5th. I think off of turn number 3 here. As he's able to get around Vernon Broadbeck for 2nd. So now we'll see if he can run down our race leader, Jeff Brogdon, and all. As Nick Wing under fire from Philip Neese. Neese now back up into the top 10 if he can complete this pass on the 99 machine, which he looks like he will into turn number 3 here. So Philip Neese back up in the top 5. As we now get to the final third of this race, folks. We'll have to see who's been saving their stuff and how their last pit stops will go, because I am 95% sure these drivers cannot make it on fuel when it's all said and done. As a little bit further back, we got a battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th on the speedway. That being Scott Thomas, Dan Hughes, and Tony Japs. As the 5 in front of them is 2 laps down, so he's not in this battle. But these 3 cars all battling for 9th, 10th, and 11th, excuse me. As Tony jabs to the inside of Dan Hughes on the top side. Looks like Tony might get a little bit better run through the corner, but down the backstretch, Dan Hughes gets that momentum on that top side. Hangs a pretty good line in turn 3 here. We'll see what kind of run he can do and see if Tony does cut the dog leg. He does not, so that keeps the 6 car up to the top side. As Dylan Schultz also back here as well. Not sure what happened to the 97 machine, as he is way towards the back than where he was running right at that stage break. So we will have to keep an eye on this 97 machine. Wonder what he is doing, but now a battle for 4th on the speedway as well. Philip Nice has caught Clark France for 4th. Philip able to drive it into turn 3 there and just clear Clark, as Clark had to do a little bit of checkup. You saw that nose bounce on that 15 machine. Had to wait to jump in the loud pedal to not get into the back bumper of that car. But Philip Nice is a man on a mission this stage. Back up into 4th position here. As Jeff Brogdon out there in front to take lap 110. About a 1.5 seconds advantage over Brandon Fetterplace, who has about a 2nd advantage over Vernon Broadbeck. And then the other playoff driver, Nick Wing, hanging out in 6th, about 5 seconds back from our race leader. So Nick's either going to have a killer pit stop and a perfect tire strategy, or else hope for a yellow flag at some point before the end of this race. Folks, let's see what the fans experience here. Let's get a shot of the fan cam. So we'll take a look here from the stands and see what they see on up there. As we sit right high above the start-finish line. Looking at the gap from the race lead. You can see Jeff Brogdon in that black and neon green 14 machine. Brandon Fetterplace in the current center of our screen, with Vernon Broadbeck towards the right side of our screen. As everyone has spread on out, folks. Everyone running their own race right now, trying to manage their tire, their strategy, their fuel, and most importantly, folks, their race, and for those 4 drivers, their championship. As Nick Wing has started to catch our 5th place runner, that being Clark France. And these guys have gotten into it twice already tonight. We'll see if 3rd time will be the charm for these guys to battle it out cleanly, as Nick Wright gets a piece of that safer barrier down the backstretch. The 55 machine of Vince Burns is catching these drivers, but he is currently 5 laps down at the moment. So a little bit of a fun fact, folks. The drivers that did get eliminated by the end of the Martinsville race were Vince Burns in that 55 machine, who is getting a little bit of screen time here. Scott Thomas in the 79 machine, Clark France in the 15, and Philip Nice all were eliminated after Martinsville and do not have a chance. Nick Wing, big time sideways off of turn number 2. He hangs onto that car, but that allows the 55 machine get to the outside of him, and get on around him. As Nick Wright woes up that 99 machine just in front of the 8 of Josh Douglas, and he'll be the first car down pit road. He knew he had to come in early, folks. He's got to undercut these race leaders, being about 5 seconds back from him. This is going to be his Hail Mary. I love the strategy from him. Currently the lowest position playoff driver. He knows he has to do something crazy. As we have one car in some trouble, he gets back to pit road. We'll check out what happened to the 83 machine in the dog leg here. Not sure what kind of issue he had, but I got reports from race control that he was off the pace. So yeah, not sure what happened to that 83 machine, but off the pace down low. Luckily does not bring out any sort of yellow, as Nick Wing gets that 99 machine up to speed. He's off of pit road. We'll have to see when our race leaders come down pit road, but with a green flag pit stop, it puts the 99 one lap down, currently in the lucky dog position here with about 36 laps to go. So currently Jeff Brogdon, who we're looking at out here, about a 2.5 second lead. Vernon Broadbeck, next car down pit road in the Mike's Harder Lemonade 10 machine. He's going to try and undercut the two playoff drivers in front of him, that being the 114 and the 14 machine. Now, if you're Brogdon, you have a little bit of cushion to those times behind him. You can push a little bit longer, but you don't want to push too long, as Nick Wing about a second a lap faster than you. So at most, you want to probably go 4 to 10 laps till after that 99 pitted. So preferably you want to keep it right around 5, since he was 5 seconds back. So if you think he's catching you a second a lap, you want to pit about 5 laps after him and get those fresher tires and use those to your advantage and not have to battle him too hard. As now we have Clark France, Dylan Schultz, and Tony Japs all also down pit road. As trouble for the 99 machine, he spun on around on the speedway, and we stay somehow green. Luckily no cars were coming on around, but we'll take a look to see what happened to the 99 of Nick Wing, one of the playoff drivers who had no luck here tonight at Phoenix, and trying to get around Vernon. Just gets a little bit loose on corner entry with the braking, tries to save it, and that thing snaps back on around. These current gen NASCARs, very tough to save a slide with no side force on these current bodies. So once you get these things to step out from you, it is almost impossible to save. As we have a race leader down pit road, Jeff Brogdon brings that 14 machine down pit road. He will try and have a perfect stop as Philip Nice and Brandon Fetterplace, our other race leader, down pit road now. This will hand over the race lead to the 8 of Josh Douglas. And Nick Wing with that spin, folks, that eliminates all his undercut that he was trying to work for. That will put him back out behind even the 10 machine, as Jeff Brogdon gets away with a great pit stop, folks. He is in and out, doesn't lose the race lead. Vernon Broadbeck, the next car behind him, still about 2.9 seconds back. So Jeff Brogdon doing everything he needed to for those pit stops. And now that 14 machine hopes to see it go green to the end of the race. But Josh Douglas, Zach Miller, Philip Nice, Brandon Fetterplace, those last two just rolling out of pit road. But Scott Thomas continues to stay on out, continues to click off the laps, as that 79 machine continues to stay on out, hoping for a yellow flag, catch some of these guys a lap down when it's all said and done. as we are in the middle of green flag pit stops for the most part. We got a battle here for 6th on the speedway. Dylan Schultz gets around Clark France. So Dylan Schultz, right before pit stops, I want to say he was right around the 10th position. Now probably will find himself back up in the top 5 when it's all said and done. As Scott Thomas continues to stay on out and lead some laps here in the season finale. As we see some of those drivers on those fresher tires continue to unlap themselves. Brandon Federplace going flying on by. You see just the advantage of those fresh tires. But Jeff Brogdon opening up that race lead here. About 4-second advantage over Vernon Broadbeck. About a 9-second advantage over Brandon Federplace. As we see Josh Douglas trying to get around Nick Wing in that 99 machine. You saw Nick have that spin. That car probably not handling the best with those tires. So Nick Wing just hoping for a yellow flag before this race is on over to keep his playoff championship hopes alive. So this time by for our race leader Scott Thomas, we should see just about 25 laps to go, folks. So we are in the closing stages of this race. As we got to wonder how much fuel Scott Thomas has. How far can he push it, you know? With him staying out this long, folks, he's definitely hoping for a yellow because he's definitely lost a lot of time compared to those race leaders on those fresh tires. As this time by, the 79 machine woes that thing on down. He'll bring it down pit road, and with that, we'll hand over the race lead to Jeff Brogdon in the 14, who has opened up that race lead to almost 4.5 seconds over Vernon Broadbeck. As it goes Broadbeck, Federplace, Nice, and Schultz for the top 5 as they run, and everyone very much spread out off of pit road, so everyone kind of in their own little bubble. And the only way we'll probably see a yellow is some sort of self-made mistake. But if that's the case, then the gloves come off, folks. Then the restarts start to get really crazy, especially with the open dogleg at this Phoenix Raceway. And as we get to the closing stages, folks, let the cars do a little bit of talking. We're going to do a little turn 3, turn it up. I'll take a break from talking. And you gotta love some turn it up cams, especially here with these NASCAR Cup cars. These things sound so good with those dual exhaust pipes that they brought back for this year. So gotta love these sounds of these race cars for one last time for the season for the iNascar Racing Series here at the Phoenix Raceway, as we have Scott Thomas trying to get his lap back from Jeff Brogdon. Scott has about 10 lap newer tires than our race leader, so it'll probably be only a few laps till he can get the job done, but Jeff just has to keep his wrist at a minimum. Our current second place runner, Vernon Broadbeck, about 6 seconds back now from our race leader. Did short pit our race leader and third place, by a handful of laps. So we got to wonder how quickly those tires are going to go, as we did see at one point this 10 car struggling with the handling, especially with the right rear grip on corner exit. Our current third place runner and also in the championship, just like our first two, Brandon Fetterplace, looking pretty sporty, has been around in this second and third place position all night long. Hasn't really had too much of a chance to try and give Jeff a run for his money up front, but you got to wonder, he's got to be hoping for a yellow to give himself a shot. And of course, our other playoff driver, that being Nick Wing in that 99 machine, had a lot of bad luck tonight. Been involved in a few incidents, and that car once again looking pretty beat up. So Nick Wing probably out of the championship contention, being 4 laps down and already back off the pace here, as he did have to come down pit road a few times under the green flag conditions. But we have 14 laps to go for car number 14. That is Jeff Brogdon, trying to come home with the championship and the race win. Don't forget, folks, at the end of the race, we will be talking to the top 3 of the race and the champion, if the champion ends up finishing outside the top 3. But at this current rate, 3 of the 4 playoff drivers are in the top 5, so unless they all take each other out with a yellow, I find that hard to believe. But Jeff Brogdon doing everything he needs to do. He's definitely backed down the pace a little bit on that 14 machine, making sure that he has no mistakes, keeping some tire underneath that car if he needs. His race lead about 5 3/4 of a second over Vernon Broadbeck. And this lap for Jeff, we'll see 2 open palms from the flagman. 10 laps to go here to decide a champion, to crown a champion after 32 weeks of battling for all of these drivers. Only 10 more laps left in this season, as Brandon Fetterplace is catching our second place driver ever so slightly, about just a little bit over half a second back. But they both, if they want a shot, need to be catching our current race leader of that 14 machine. as this race continues to shuffle on down. We ride back. Cam looking back at the front end of Brandon Fetterplace, who is rapidly closing that gap for the second place runner. It may be just a battle for second on the speedway, but overall it's a battle for second in the championship, where these drivers end on up when it's all said and done. As we get a yellow flag here inside of 10 laps to go. Oh man, folks, this is where it gets wild. Oh man, now you got to decide, do you come down to pit? 2 tires, 4 tires, gas, no gas, and of course, can you put it together? Oh man, folks, that looks a little bit like some retaliation between these two drivers when it's all said and done. We might have to go a little bit further back than that as they continue to beat doors. But yeah, we try and figure out what happened. As the 99 hard impact to the wall, and it looks like the 15 machine is chasing him on up there. So not sure what started that, but we have some guys pitting. We have some guys staying out. Brandon Fetterplace staying on out with old tires, same with Philip Neese, Josh Douglas, and Tony Japs. Jeff Brogdon bringing on down for 4 fresh Goodyear tires and will win the race off of pit road. Man, even with the amount of laps to go, folks, I think with how long of a run that was, I think you had to come down pit road and take some tires. As yeah, this time Brandon Fetterplace comes on down and the rest of the field, so Jeff Brogdon will take over the race lead here with the 8th yellow of tonight. The championship will be decided in 5 laps or less when we go back racing green, folks. This is where it gets wild. The whole season, 32 weeks, all of those hours from racing, testing, practicing, qualifying, all accumulate into this one moment, folks. This is what makes or breaks a champion. We'll see who can pull it on out and earn this title. This is going to be a wild restart, to just say the least. So it won't quite be a green-white checkered restart, folks, but it will be as close as we can get without one. As when we go green, it will be 3 laps to go. Jeff Brogdon once again will lead us to green flag. Vernon Broadbeck in probably one of the worst spots, restarting in that second position. That 10 machine's got to almost jump this restart. He's got to time it absolutely perfect if he wants a shot at this championship. Brandon Fetterplace with pitting late, a lap late, will restart in the 5th position behind Dylan Schultz. So we'll see how these guys can sort themselves on out as Nick Wing, his race is done for the championship. We'll see who can come up with it as a 14 of Jeff Brogdon will lead us to green as he enters the Geico restart zone. He jumps on the loud pedal, gets away with a great start, folks. He did what he needed with 3 laps to go. Brandon Fetterplace will try and get a big run heading into turn number 1. Will try and shoot the outside of Dylan Schultz. But up front, Brogdon has a 3/10 of a second lead over Vernon Broadbeck. Vernon's got to push as hard as he's ever to try and get to that back bumper of that 14 machine when it is all said and done. Popsicle sticks up in the air for these drivers. 2 laps to go. As one car goes around in the tri-oval, that will collect another one. I believe that's Josh Douglas once again looping that thing in the tri-oval, but we stay green. No yellow flag out now. I don't know what's going on. They stay green as Jeff Brogdon looks to pick up the white flag. If it goes white flag, we're racing to the checkered, and that will be the case. We're racing to the checkered flag. Jeff Brogdon picks up the white flag. We'll see what can happen from his Vernon Brodbeck loose through the tri-oval. He will lose second in the championship, trying all he can to catch Jeff Brogdon. But Brogdon off of turn number 2. He needs to just hit his marks for these last couple turns, and he's got himself a championship. 32 weeks in the making. Jeff Brogdon in the 14 machine is your iNascar racing champion for this season. Dylan Schultz will bring it home second. Brandon Fetter place in third. And Vernon Brodbeck brings it home in 6th. Nick Wing in 12th. But Jeff, the man of the hour, he had the dominant car all race long here at Phoenix. He gets the job done. We'll put the camera on him to do some burnouts. But heck of a job by these drivers for a heck of a season. Wow, what a way to finish it with an under 5 lap restart to determine it. I bet Jeff is just absolutely elated to get away cleanly there and to bring home the championship for that 14 team. As we'll keep the camera on the 14 machine, we'll see if we'll burn it down for the fans at home here. Alrighty, folks, we'll be right back after commercial break to interview the top 3. Alrighty, folks, we are here with our 3rd place finisher, that being Brandon Fetter place. We'll see if we can catch him here in the chat. Hey, Brandon, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here. Paging the 114 machine. You got a copy? Alrighty, sadly, folks, it looks like we don't have a response from the 114 machine of Brandon Fetter place. So we'll try and dial up our 2nd place finisher, that being Dylan Schultz in the 97 machine. Dylan, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, man. You bring home that 97 machine in the 2nd position. How was that car tonight? It seemed like you had a lot of speed in that thing overall when it is all said and done.
Yeah, it was a good race. My internet kind of messed me up, and I got sent to the back, but I worked my way back up and got second place.
Yeah, Dylan, I was wondering what happened to you because at the end of stage 2, you finished second and looked like you had some really good long run pace in that 97 machine. Is that what happened? You had a little bit of internet issue?
Yeah, I think it was on that last restart, end of stage 2. I just had to go to the inside, and I didn't want to mess anyone up, so kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, that is a bummer for you, Dylan. But like I said, heck of a job by you. That 97 machine had a lot of speed in the long run. What'd you maybe figure out about this place, or what helped save that much tire on that 97 Sharpie machine?
Just trail braking into the corner, and then what was it, 1 and 2? I kind of would diamond the turn, kind of bomb it in there, and then wait until the tires stuck, and then would accelerate on exit. So yeah, I had a good car in the long run.
Yeah, Dylan, that thing looked very sporty out there. So this season comes to an end tonight. Sadly, you weren't out there battling for a championship with these guys, but overall, how was the 97 team's season when it's all said and done, looking back at the last 32 weeks?
I had a fun time. I think this track, this race was my best finish actually. I know I finished third in Richmond, but yeah, I had a fun time. I just gotta finish or fix my internet. What I gotta do.
Yep, a good little off-season project for that 97 machine. Get that thing all set up, and Dylan, I bet you'll be pretty sporty next season. So before we let you go and enjoy this off-season and enjoy this runner-up finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank out there for that 97 team.
Just my racing team, Snake River Racing, and then Matt Allen for putting the server on, and then you for broadcasting. So thank you, appreciate it.
All righty, thank you very much, Dylan. You have yourself a great rest of the night.
You too, thanks.
All righty, folks. Now we'll try and dial up our race winner, that being the 14 machine of Jeff Brogdon. Paging the 14 machine down in victory lane. Do you got a copy? Jeff Brogdon, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here. Oh man, folks, this would be a bummer. Not seeing a copy from the 14 machine, our winner and our champion. Hopefully, maybe he can jump on in here before I wrap on up fully, but that would be a heartbreak, not able to talk to our champion, see all the emotion in his voice, and when it's all said and done. So if you're viewing or you got Brogdon's number or something like that, tell him to jump in the Discord quick. We got to have a word with him. But oh, we got some questions here. We got Tim Rogers in the booth. Why are the walls blue? Tim, I don't know, because they don't get enough water here in Phoenix. That's a good question, why they're blue. But, yep, that is very true, Matt. Congrats to Jeff Brogdon. He was on a mission. That car, that 14 machine, was on rails tonight, and he definitely earned that championship with the dominant race car, managed his race, did what he had to do by the end of the night, parking that thing home in victory lane, and most importantly, bringing home that championship for the iNascar series. So with that, folks, we're going to go start running through tonight's finishing order. Jeff Brogdon in the 14 machine picks up the win and most importantly picks up the championship. So he is season 1 champion. So heck of a job by that 14 team. Dylan Schultz, who we got a chance to talk to, brings it home in the runner-up position in that 97 machine. Brandon Fetterplace tried his best in that 114 machine, but brings it home third and second in the championship. Scott Thomas, heck of a rebound by that 79 machine. He parks it in fourth place. And rounding out the top 10, Vernon Broadbeck in the 10 machine. We saw him get loose on that last lap. He finishes third in the standings. Sixth goes to Tony Japs in the 42 machine. Seventh is Josh Douglas in the 8th. Philip Neese in the 038 machine finishes in 8th. Ninth goes to Clark France in the 15. And rounding out the top 10 is Richard Mills in the 5. 11th goes to Vince Burns in the 55 machine. 12th is Nick Wing in the 99. 13th is Zach Miller in the 38. 14th is Dan Hughes in the 6. 15th, Benjamin Bryant in the 83 machine. 16th goes to Matt Allen in the 127. And rounding out the field tonight, did not make the call, is the 17 machine of Dan Jensen. So another great race, and the season wraps on up here, folks. We got a lot to happen, a lot to go on, and looks like we might have one of our admins here, Matt Allen, to say a few words. How's it going, Matt?
What's going on, Brett?
Oh, not too much. Just wrapped up the finishing order. I assume you got some words to say here, and looks like we might have Jeff Brogdon after here. So
I was coming to get your attention. I got a hold of him, got him in here. I didn't want him to jump out before we can congratulate our champion for our iNascar champion season 1.
Alrighty, Jeff, you're up here in the booth. Congratulations on the championship. Jeff, how you feeling when it's all said and done? 32 weeks in the making.
Oh, man, it's just a culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of laps put in, a lot of fun racing with the dudes, man. These guys are tough. It was just a good ending to a good season.
Yeah, Jeff, I gotta say, heck of a job by you here tonight. You were definitely the car to beat when it was all said and done. What'd you maybe figure out this place that made that thing such a rocket ship?
I think this is just one of those places where if you figure it out, you're gonna be good. And I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a road course, and I'm kind of decent at those, so I don't know. It's just a lot of laps put in too. I just put in a lot of laps this week.
Yeah, I bet, Jeff. I was saying in the broadcast, 32 weeks in the making, not only of racing, but qualifying practice, and I'm sure all you guys in the playoffs for this race, put a lot of hours practicing to try and better themselves, and of course, try and bring home that championship. And Jeff, you were the one to do it. Heck of a job by you. And the other thing I got to ask, how'd you get such good restarts? It seemed like you could pull away at least half a second every restart.
I don't know. I think a lot of guys were scared to go across the apron, because this week on cold tires it's been kind of treacherous. But you're on the inside there, you got a pretty straight shot, so it's not as bad as it would be if you're trying to come down from the top line. So I think that's part of it. But I don't know. Maybe I was just catching them off guard. I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff, you did everything perfect that you could from restarting where you did. And one last race-related question from tonight, Jeff. What was going through your mind? You get that yellow flag inside of 10 laps to go. I assume you knew you had to pit, but from there, what was going through your mind with that final restart?
I kind of screamed at my screens there for a couple minutes, and then I regrouped. And on the first pass, I got into the pits, and there was a couple guys that stayed out, so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to make it past these guys. But they ended up pitting too, so it all worked out in the end.
Yep, Jeff, and you hit your marks on those last couple laps. Had a little pressure from the 10, but I think you got loose in the dog leg. Let you breathe a little sigh of relief, and you just had to coast that thing through those last couple corners. But, man, Jeff, you come home away with the championship. Matt, you got anything to ask our champion?
No, I just want to congratulate him, and can't wait to send him out his prizes for winning this year.
Yeah, Jeff, heck of a job for you. But before I let you go, celebrate down in Victory Lane. Take all those pictures, especially with all the championship trophies and all those goodies you get as well. I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on that 14 crew for the championship and, of course, the race win here tonight.
Well, I want to thank all of our sponsors. I want to thank Matt for hosting this league and putting it all together, putting a good group of guys around. And I want to thank you for broadcasting the couple races that you did this year. It's been fun rewatching it on YouTube. Or I think it's YouTube. It might be Facebook. But yeah, it's fun rewatching the races and hearing your inputs. Your inputs are pretty good too. So that's all I got to say. See you guys next season.
Alrighty, Jeff. Yeah, thanks again for putting on a great show out there on track. Once again, congrats on the championship. Always a pleasure seeing you out there on track. And yeah, we'll catch you on the flip side. You go. We'll let you get back to all the interviews and all the photos. So, Jeff, have yourself a great rest of the night. And once again, congrats on the championship.
Congrats, Jeff.
Thanks a lot, Brett. Thanks, Matt.
Alrighty, Matt. And, of course, I got to give a big shout-out to you, Matt, being one of the main admins with this league and all that fun stuff, making this all work. We got to give a huge shout-out to you. So I'll hand over the mic to you, and maybe if you want to say a few words about the series and maybe what's the plans for it going forwards as we come to a close for this season.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here and broadcasting these. I know we only had a couple, but we loved every single one of them, and hopefully we'll have you back for next year. We are done with season 1, but we're on to the winter off season / recruiting for next season. Season 2 will start up in February with the LA Coliseum. If anybody's interested, please, all the details are in the bottom of this YouTube page. So check them out. We'll be back for next year. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I can't do this enough without my 2 admins underneath me, Josh and Scott. They do everything and anything that I need them to do. And then these wonderful race fans and race guys I got to run this awesome league. Can't believe it's just something that a couple guys were screwing around and talking about, and it ended up being something that's been pretty competitive.
Yeah, Matt, I got to hand it to you. You know, you did a great job with this first season under your belt. You know, a lot of great racers, like you said, a lot of great competitors. You guys have done a hats-off job. I know what it's like to be on the admin side of a league. You know, you got to put yourself in some awkward situations sometime, you know, make some tough calls. But at the end of the day, we want to thank you for putting on a great series, a great league. And, yeah, I can't wait to hear what's more in store for you guys. And you have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll definitely keep in touch, Matt.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it, man.
Alrighty, that was our league admin, Matt Allen, saying a few words. So if you're interested in joining some racing, especially if you got some free time on a Thursday night, be sure to check out the iNascar Racing Series on Facebook and, of course, on the league tab page on iRacing. So this will do it for season number 1. We wrapped up 32 weeks here tonight. Jeff Brogdon comes home with the championship. We already ran through the finishing order. So, folks, everyone have a safe week. We'll catch you around. Everyone stay safe. Have a good one. And, of course, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth. Be sure to check out some more Turn 3 Racing Network broadcasts, as they got a lot of broadcasts going on each and every week. A lot of great racing to cover. Of course, got to give a shout-out to all the YouTube commenters, Eric, Tim, Matt, and Vonzo. Got to give a shout-out to all you guys. Of course, got to give a shout-out once again to all the admins here at the league, Matt and his fellow admins, to put on a great series. Of course, RS Button Boxes and Butt Kicker, as well as all the racing competitors out here to put on the show for us to watch. And, of course, the fans out there tuning in live and all the replay viewers. Got to give a shout-out to all you guys. So, everyone stay safe. And I've been Brett the Jet in the booth. We'll catch you later. And I just flew by you. See ya.